beats on the track.
What's going on, truckers? Yeah, this your boy 9 to 5 Twine, man, and we back at it with trucking with 9 to 5 Twine, man. Shouts out to all the 9 to 5ers out there going to hard work, doing their thing every day, making money to feed their family and support themselves, man. Being adults, working a 9 to 5, staying out of trouble, staying out the way, and staying out of prison. And with that being said, man, let's get into it, man. We doing this trucking with 9 to 5 Twine, and today we talking about over the road versus regional and versus local. So let's just talk about each one and let's talk about what they are and what's best for you. So with that being said, let's work. Okay, so OTR stands for over the road, and that's basically means you're going to be over the road. Well, at the end of the day, truck driving, you're going to be driving on streets, roads, and highways almost every day. So that's just trucking in general. You're going to be on the road driving. But OTR, over the road, means that you're going to be driving, if not all 50 states, you're going to be driving 48 states, depending on which company. So that means you're gonna be doing long hauls from either, I ain't gonna necessarily even say long hauls, but when you over the road, you're gonna be going to almost any and every state on a day-to-day basis. Within a 7-day period, you could go from, let's just say Michigan, you could go one day, you could, like, let's just say today, you could go from Michigan, and you might only get a load from your company that's going to Ohio or Indiana, or let's just say Kentucky. You might get another load going back to Michigan, but then they might send you to New Jersey. So what you doing? Then once you go to New Jersey, you might not make it back home because you over the road. You living in your truck going to almost any and every state across the whole United States. So you might leave New Jersey and then they might send you to Cali. So boom, within that 7 days, you ran out of time. You got to shut down and do your 34-hour reset somewhere in a whole nother state that you're not born and raised in. Okay, boom. You shut down, do your 34, get your 70 hours back, and now you trying to go back home. Okay, before they send you home on whatever specific date you got to go home, they send you from Cali going to Texas. Oh, okay, boom. They send you from Texas going to Georgia. You know what I'm saying? And they can send you from Georgia going back up to Michigan. It's so many different things that you could, at the end of the day, over the road is you actually being over the road. I ain't gonna necessarily say you gonna do long haul loads where you going from Michigan to California and then you going from Cali all the way to Atlanta, Georgia. I ain't gonna necessarily say you doing that, but when you over the road, you not local. You're not gonna be home every day, and you're not just gonna stick to a few different states to where you're gonna be close to home. So over the road is basically you driving all 50 states, or you doing 48 to 40 states, and you're gonna be doing that on a daily basis, and that's what I call over the road. I've drove over the road for, I want to say, 1 year and 6 months when I first became a truck driver, and ever since then I went to regional. So what is regional? Let's talk about regional. Regional is basically you sticking to a certain amount of states in one region. So if you a regional driver on the West Coast, you're gonna stick to them West Coast states. You never gonna come East Coast, or you never gonna go down south unless that's inside your regional contract for whatever company that you work for, you drive for. So regional could be, oh, all right, I'm only doing Nevada, I'm only doing California, Nevada, and Nevada and Texas, or just the West Coast states. Or you could be Midwest regional like me, and you doing Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Iowa, Wisconsin, and those the only states you're gonna run in. You see what I'm saying? That's a region. Or you could be East Coast, where you doing New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Virginia, and that's it. Or you could be in the down south region, where you only doing Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Louisiana, and Alabama. You sticking to that region. So regional, it varies from how many. It just really depends on your company and what states they saying you gonna run in for what accounts. So usually when you regional, you gonna run anywhere from 5 to 10 states in that region, and that's it. You're not gonna go, if you on the East Coast and you regional, you really only gonna stick to them states, to about 5 to 10 states that's around the state that you live in, that you run out of, and that's it. So if you regional in the East Coast, you're not going to the West Coast, because that's not regional, that's over the road. If you going from New York to California, that's not regional, that's over the road. You see what I'm saying? So that's regional. You just sticking to the Western region states, the Southern region states, the Midwest region states, or the Eastern region states. Yeah, you might do 4 or 5 states, and sometimes if you on the East Coast, your regional might lead you to the Midwest, but that's just in that region. You might do, but that's kind of like regional over the road, but it's not over the road, because you never really going too far out your region. You see what I'm saying? So some regional accounts at certain companies require you to go a little outside your region, but that's still regional. It's not over the road, but it's more like just regional. You just going a little further than you going, kind of halfway over the road, but it's not technically over the road, because you're never going too far away from, basically you're never going too far away from home. So when you regional, you always in a region where you could get back home for at least 1 or 2 days, and that's just what it is. That's regional. And local, which most truck drivers want to do, I ain't gonna say most, a lot of people get their CDL and want to be local. Like they want to be home every day. They want to drive trucks and be home every day and make good money. And I'm just gonna say this. Before I say that, let me finish off. I mean, local is really self-explanatory. You're local. You're home every night. You're home every day. You're riding, doing loads in your city, and you basically only going like maybe at the most 100 to 200 miles outside of the state you start in, outside of the city that you start up in. That way, you never gonna go outside of your state. Well, I ain't even gonna say outside of your state, because you could be a local driver. Let's say you local driver in Detroit. You could be a local driver in Detroit and go to Toledo, Ohio. That's only like a 40, 50 mile difference from each other, depending on where you at in Detroit. So if your company got some kind of business going on in Toledo, that's wherever they located at, or whatever city you in. You could go to another state, but you only like 50 to 100 miles away. So you could go there and come back within 11 hours of driving. Like, that's local. You know what I'm saying? Local is basically you gonna be home every night, and you're gonna be doing loads that's not too far away from your city, and that's just local. You just gonna stay basically inside your state, or if you do go out of state, you're not gonna go too far. You're not gonna be doing no 500-mile run, because then that'll be like, well, you got semi-local too. I should have said that too. You got semi-local and local. Semi-local is like you do a load, you might go like 400-500 miles out. You can't make it back home. The company will buy you a hotel room, but then the next day you know you coming back home, and you only gonna be doing loads that's not too far away from home. Semi-local is basically you home every other night. It's not necessarily regional, but you never gonna go too far away from home. Like you're not gonna be doing loads that's 1,000 miles away, because that's kind of like regional. Semi-local is you doing loads that's really like 500 to 600 miles away, to where you could get home every other day. But local is you home every day, and you not doing loads that's more than like 200-300 miles at a time, for real. Because if you did a load that's more than 300 miles, then it's possible that you won't make it back home for that day. With that being said, man, that's what local is. It's you home every day, and you just stand within your city or within your state doing smaller loads every day, and you able to make it back home every day. And you usually don't have a sleeper truck. Over the road and regional requires you to have a sleeper truck. Don't get me wrong, you got day cabs out here that run regional over the road, but that's when the companies buy them hotel rooms for the night, stuff like that. You got situations like that at certain companies. Outside of that, which one pays the best? I feel like it really all depends on the state that you live in. These trucking companies pay by the cost of living per state. So Midwest drivers, I feel like Midwest drivers make more. It's really about the amount of money that your company is paying, with also taking into consideration the cost of living in your state. And drivers in New York may make more money than drivers down south, but look at the cost of living down south versus the cost of living in New York. Same thing with California. People in California may make more money depending on their job title, but look at the cost of living in California. You know what I'm saying? So that's something you got to take into consideration. But overall, I feel like no matter what state you live in, no matter what kind of account you running on, whether it's OTR, regional, or over the road. I said OTR already. Whether you run the over the road, regional, semi-local, or local, I feel like the one that pays the best is, depending on the company, over the road and regional pays the best. Certain cities, major cities, pay their local drivers real good, and that is very scarce. Regional drivers make more because they get more miles. Usually the accounts pay more than local drivers. If you getting paid cents per mile or hourly, you're not gonna get as paid as much as somebody who drive over the road or regional, for the most part. Don't get me wrong, you got some companies that pay their local drivers better than regional drivers. It's out here. But that's scarce because a lot of these older guys is not retiring, and they making a lot of money just driving locally. And local work is super easy. Trucking is super easy in general. It's all the same thing. The only difference is the distance, the amount of distance that you're running. You know what I'm saying? But over the road, usually you're gonna get longer loads that shoot across multiples, like 4 to 5 states. You might get a load going from Michigan to Georgia, then from Georgia to Cali, then from Cali to New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? Usually a lot of them over the road loads is way more miles. The mileage pays more. Usually you get more miles over the road than you would regionally. But regional drivers can make a lot of miles depending on how hard they run, and depending on the setup that the company has, the accounts and the setup and customers the company has. So over the road and regional pays more than local for the most part. there are situations where local pays more than regional or over the road. It's all based upon the company and the cost of living in your state. I would say if you're a new driver, you should go over the road or regional for a year or two. It's all really dependent on your lifestyle and your goals that you want. Usually people with wife and kids, it's a lot of guys that got wife and kids and they over the road. They do it for a certain amount of time to save up money and then fulfill whatever goals, financial goals they need to reach. And then they go local. A lot of people go local out of CDL school. They don't make as much money because you don't run as much miles, you don't run as hard, and the work is way easier because you only go to a few customers in a day and that's it. You don't run as many hours as a regional or over the road driver. And with that being said, man, I highly suggest any new driver to, if you don't have a wife and kids, I highly suggest you to go over the road for a year or two to start seeing all the beautiful states and tourist sites throughout the country. I feel like it's gonna give you a lot of experience. We're learning about trucking, learning highway systems, learning about situations, dealing with customers, learning everything you need to learn about that pertains to trucking. If you don't want to do all 50 states and be over the road, sleeping in your truck, I highly suggest you do regional. A lot of men with wife and kids do regional. They get back home 2 days out the week. They sacrifice for their families. I highly suggest that you do regional. If you want to get back home for a day or two, you do regional. Most people in trucking does regional. If it wasn't for regional drivers, there would not be any economy. Without regional and over-the-road drivers, there will not be an economy. Local drivers do not have what it takes to run the economy. They run the economy locally. That's why they're local drivers. They help distribute merchandise and products and things necessary for businesses to run and stay operable on the local level. But on the nationwide level, regional and over-the-road drivers are the ones who keep this company afloat. And that's just what it is, man. Everything is based upon your preference. Usually, like I said, OTR, over the road and regional jobs usually pay more than local jobs overall. And that's just facts. You can go look at any statistical data for most states and you're going to see most over the road and regional positions at most companies going to pay more than the local positions. Outside of that, man, yeah, that's what it is, man. It's really all just all preference based and all about your lifestyle and what you want to do with your career. So my advice to anybody that's trying to become a trucker or anybody that's a new trucker, I say do over the road for a year, see if you like it. If you don't, go regional. If you feel like you just want to make some decent money and you want to be home every day, I say go local if that's what you want. I just don't feel like you should go local if you only gonna make $600 to $700 a week. You better off going back to a factory or plant job if you just want to make $600 to $700 a week. Cause why put yourself in a commercial vehicle and you on the road when it's a lot of dangerous and things that happen out here on the road? Not saying that something's gonna happen, but I feel like trucking is kind of a little too risky for you to just be making $600 to $700 a week when you could just make that working at a factory. I mean, if you love driving, which I love driving, that's cool. You just gotta, it's kind of like, it gotta be worth your while. Like, if you just love driving just to drive, then hey, I can't knock you on that. But I feel like truck drivers all across the board at every company, we all deserve better pay. And that's just a whole another video that I'll talk about at another time. But yeah, man, this video was just comparing over the road, regional and local, defining what they are, comparing them, comparing the pay. At the end of the day, it's all about your lifestyle, your goals, and your preference. Me personally, I love regional. I love over the road. I don't want to do local simply because I don't like day cabs. I don't see a lot of jobs that pay good enough, pay their local drivers good enough. But with that being said, that's just my opinion. I prefer to do regional. I love regional over the road. I love driving trucks. I love driving cars, period. I just love driving. That's just my lifestyle and what I like. And that's just what it is, man. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video, man. This trucking with your boy 9 to 5 Twine. Y'all see I had to put on my sexy specs. No, these my glasses, my safety glasses when I'm driving in the daytime. These definitely do a great job at reflecting the sunlight and not protecting my eyes from the sunlight. I hope this light, the LED on this iPhone, is not giving y'all a bad glare off my glasses. Y'all see I got on my safety vest and I'm in the back cave right now. And with that being said, man, that's what it is, man. I hope y'all like my video, man. I want y'all to like the video. I want y'all to click subscribe to my channel if you feel like I did a good job describing everything that I went over in this video. I want y'all to comment on the video and tell me y'all how y'all feel about what I was saying about being over the road versus regional. Did I do a good job on this video explaining everything correctly? And last but not least, man, follow me on all social media websites, man. Shouts out to the truckers. I just released a hit song and dance called Trucking. I want y'all to go view that, man. Shouts out to all the truck drivers all around the world, man. We all the ones that making people's lives happy with the way we trucking and doing the things that we do. And that's what it is, man. So like I said, I follow back on all social media platforms. It's 925 Twine on everything. So follow me, I follow back, and that's what it is, man. Keep on trucking, keep stacking up that money, and keep getting to the road, man. Keep driving on the road, keep driving safe, keep getting to that bag, man. Keep on trucking. Truckers for life, trucker lifestyle, trucker swag, trucking business, trucking, truck drivers, truck. And that's what it is, man. Signing out. Get up out of here. 9 to 5 world, 9 to 5 way, 9 to 5 life, 9 to 5 business. And that's what it is, man. Clock up out of here. Log out.